they doubt the kid. I'm about to prove them all wrong again. I got a low tolerance, cause they don't even know what the problem is. It's me. You waiting on the boy to fail, then hold your breath and face your death. Cause you play a roulette with each step. I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bets. Cause we know who we at, we know we top tier. Cause all the hate that you bring, we know it stops here. I'm taking off like a rocket here and stopping here. It's strange how they cannot see the future, but see profit here. Wait up, we gon' always win. Tell 'em I can't take no loss. My team hold no L's, no. Aiming for the top, can't make it by myself.
Welcome back, everybody. Panthers are NHL champions, back-to-back champions. I think there's a new hockey town in America, and it's right down here. It's Miami. It's South Florida. We are champions once again. Had to start with that. We're going to start with a lot of things before we get to the meat of our topics today, but there's a couple little things that I wanted to get to real quick before we jump right into, what I really wanted to focus on today. But congratulations to my Panthers. Sam Bennett, he wins the Conn Smythe. He's the MVP of the finals. And, Florida doesn't agree on a whole lot. The denizens of Florida. I've often said Florida highways are the greatest example of what humans can be capable of in terms of nonviolence in the face of hating everyone around you. It's the highways here. We all hate each other. We cut each other off. We're rude, but we are light on. It didn't change. We are light on the violence here in South Florida on the roadways. At least we had been, not with these new gun laws. But Floridians, my point is, Floridians don't really like each other much, but we can all agree on one thing. Florida Panthers are champions. They are our team. We all love them. All races, all creeds, all walks of life down here. Everybody's on board with the Florida Panthers championship. Boom. Enough of that. I wanted to say happy Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth. June 19th, 1865. The last slaves in captivity here in the States were told they are free. That was 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. There's a little dark cloud over the Juneteenth celebrations this year, however, as a lot of corporate funders have backed out of Juneteenth celebrations all over the country. And mainly, although some will tell you it's financial, right? It's mainly this anti-DEI movement. That's what it's all about. And a number of corporate sponsors who sponsored a number of Juneteenth celebrations all over the country have backed out, and the celebrations have been dialed back quite a bit. Most notably in Denver, dozens of companies backed out of their Juneteenth celebration. It was a music festival that they hold in Denver for Juneteenth. Dozens of corporate sponsors have backed out of that. In West Virginia, they won't be West Virginia itself, the state government of West Virginia, had been sponsoring some Juneteenth celebrations. They are completely done with that in West Virginia. They cite financial problems. I say you're liars. It's this DEI, anti-DEI movement. You can cite whatever reasons you want to cite. You're backing out. You're wimping out. Scottsdale, Arizona, cancellation of the Juneteenth festival there. It's all over the country. I'm not going to dig too deep, but this is a trend you're going to see as long as this administration is in power, and as long as this anti-DEI culture war initiative is in place. And, corporations that sponsor the Republican Party and, others that may not be politically affiliated are just backing out and putting a dent in the celebrations across the country. But we won't dent it here. Happy Juneteenth. All right. And I do apologize for not being here yesterday. We had some stuff going on that we could not come in yesterday. I do apologize. A bunch of you reached out. You missed the show. And for that, I appreciate you very much. And we are back. We're going to be live today, live tomorrow, and back next week. I will keep you apprised of any, cancellations of any shows going forward. Hit the GoFundMe on our website. That will help to cancel. That will help to avoid cancellations of the more permanent nature going forward. You just go to my website, brettbreaksthings.com, hit the donation, and help us out. That would be amazing. So I'm going to get to a couple things. This is a feel good right here. Couple feel goods. Then before I get into some stuff that feels not as good, couple feel goods. Let's take a look.
Breaking moments ago, a federal jury in Colorado found prominent election denier and top Trump campaign donor Mike Lindell liable for defaming an employee of Dominion Voting Systems after the 2020 presidential election. Lindell was sued by Dominion executive Eric Coomer after he called Coomer a, quote, traitor and claimed he stole the election.
MAGA's favorite crackhead has lost his libel, his case against Eric Coomer, defamation. It was a defamation case against Eric Coomer, who was he was the former director of production and strategy and security at Dominion, who's in charge of the voting systems in the 2020 election. Coomer leveled this lawsuit. He claimed that Lindell defamed him by calling him a traitor and accusing him of helping rig the 2020 presidential election. Okay? This case has been going on for 2 years. Lindell made these claims on his media platform. It used to be known as Frank Speech. Okay? So Lindell himself and Frank Speech, the media platform, were sued. Frank Speech has been since renamed to Lindell TV. And the case went on for 2 years. Well, it's over. It's over. And Coomer, who said his life and his career has been totally ruined by this, by the defamation of Mike Lindell. He received death threats. He had to leave his position at Dominion. He pretty much went underground in the face of this defamation, and he sued him. He sued him for $62 million. That's what he was seeking in this lawsuit, Coomer was. He didn't get that. But he did get a W. He did get a win. Lindell himself personally owes him $440,000 now, and Frank Speech owes him $1.8 million in this suit. They have won. So Lindell, I just wish his pillows weren't so damn comfortable. Honestly, and I know you don't want to hear that, right? But I'm sorry. My pillows are really comfortable. I can't buy them anymore, though. I can't do it. I drew my personal line in the sand, right? No more My Pillow. I don't care how good a sleep I get. I don't care how much it supports my neck properly. I can't do it. It also works well between the legs. If you got back problems like me, you pop one between your knees when you hit that side posture. Such great relief. Again, Mike, I will not allow you to help my lower back pain anymore. I'm done with you. And the courts are done with you. And Coomer's not done with you because you owe him money now. But so that's a little feel good. We're gonna start with a little feel good. Now I'm gonna play you something else. I'm gonna play you something else that's a little unrelated to what we're doing today, but I really wanted to get to it because in the past couple weeks I'd been playing you town hall meetings. I've been playing you Republican town hall meetings. I've been highlighting the dissension between the Republicans in some of these representatives' districts and the Trump philosophy and the Trump administration's, the way they're going about their business in terms of cuts in the big, beautiful bill, in terms of, the unconstitutionality of a lot of these ICE raids, the corruption. All of these issues have been raised in multiple Republican town halls, and the Republican reps, one after another, have been indignant, obtrusive, hostile, toxic, don't answer questions, just hit you with that administration, right along the talking points, the spin, right along the culture war, not interested in actually listening to the concerns of their constituents, just hitting the culture war, just hitting the talking points, being good little foot soldiers. Look at me, Donald. Look at me in the face of the people that vote or do not vote for me, raising concerns about you. Watch what I do to them. Watch me put them in their place. Time and time again, we watch this. But there have been town hall meetings on the Democratic side. And I wanted to just play you a town hall meeting with Jon Ossoff and an equally passionate voting base that showed up to ask their rep the tough questions and confront them about the current actions of this administration, what they're willing to do about it. And Jon Ossoff stood up there and he took the questions And he responded to these questions in a manner in which I bet Republicans that may have caught this wish their reps would respond to them. Frankly, honestly, reasonably, calmly. Let's take a look.
Why are there no calls for impeachment? This is unacceptable. I will not live in an authoritative country, and neither will any of these people. You can do more. I like you, and I will vote for you if you are brave and you do what we need. We need him impeached. We need him removed.
There is no doubt that this president's conduct has already exceeded any prior standard for impeachment by the United States House of Representatives. I agree with you.
That's it.
But as I said at the beginning, I also have no choice but to be candid with you about the situation that we face and the tools that are at our disposal. As strongly as I agree with you, ma'am. And I regret if this is an unwelcome response, but my job is to be honest with you. The only way to achieve what you want to achieve is to have a majority in the United States House of Representatives.
That's how you do it. Don't tell me they're the same on both sides. I'm tired of hearing it. I am completely uninterested in whataboutism. I'm completely uninterested when you ask a representative of either side a direct question and they go straight to, well, Biden did that, or Trump did this, or they did that, or they did this. I am completely uninterested in whataboutism. And apparently so is Jon Ossoff. He didn't go on a rant or tirade or hit talking points that the far, far left will just eat up blindly. He answered honestly and calmly. I'd love to impeach Trump. Many of his colleagues would. But without a majority, it's untenable. It's not going to happen. That's the truth. And I love the videos of other Democratic representatives in the House and the Senate talking about impeachment. That's what they should be talking about. But on top of that, with that, attached to that, they should be talking about, it's not really a tangible goal right now. We don't have the votes. The right has been consolidated on this. They will not vote to impeach Trump. They just won't. They are worried about their gravy train. They are worried about being the one or two that step outside the secret MAGA base, right? They don't want to upset Trump in any way, shape, or form on anything, especially voting to impeach him. It just isn't going to happen. You're going to waste taxpayer money, time, going forward with impeachment right now when it just isn't going to happen. We're going to get into the Iran-Israel conflict next, all right? So I got a couple feel-good things out of the way. We're going to get into that next. I did want to play Ossoff talking about Trump's corruption, which was a great sounder, but we just don't have the time today. So we're going to get into Iran-Israel next.
It's time for a quick break, then we break some more. You're listening to Break. You're back with Brett Breaks Things, because democracy doesn't defend itself.
All right, here we go. Now, this situation is constantly evolving, obviously, and it's constantly moving forward. Where it's moving forward to, that's the scary part, right? Now, Trump, a lot of Republicans, some in the media, and Bibi himself, they would love nothing more, it seems, than to unleash the dogs of war. It's what they're pushing for. It's no longer veiled. The talking points are coming out, and sides are being drawn. It feels like at this point, Trump will say, he just feels like if I say things, then you will take them face value because it's worked in the past. It works for my base. I just say things and you get on board. And not everybody's getting on board right now. Not over this. He comes out and his rhetoric has been steadily increasing, more toxic, more inflammatory, making me and many of you feel like all-out war with Iran is becoming more and more a possibility, right? The percentage of it is increasing daily. Every time he gets in front of a camera, every time he opens his mouth, I feel like the percentage chance of us going to war with Iran gets greater. Gets greater, especially as he slowly gets his base on board. Again, some won't get on board, and I can't wait to get to that. But man, this feels familiar. This feels really familiar. Saying and doing anything you can, the president, the sitting administration, the decision makers that are in power at the time, they're doing everything they can to head us straight into a war. Why does this feel so familiar? Like I've seen this show before. I don't know, maybe you have too. Maybe we all have.
Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists. Either you're with us, either you love freedom and with nations which embrace freedom, or you're with the enemy. You're either with us or you're with the enemy. That's clear. I will continue to make that clear.
We are going to make declarations, overarching declarations. We're going to throw nuance into the trash. We want war. We are going to say and do what we want or have to get it, right? Whether it be falsely claiming a country has weapons of mass destruction and then manufacturing theater in a hearing with anthrax to prove your point, and then later on be proven wrong. Later on, it comes out you're lying. That's okay, because we got what we wanted, right? We're going to say and do what we need to do to get our war. Act now, apologize later, right? We've seen this show before. We've seen this show before, and Trump has plenty of people on his side. Some label them the warmongers, right? The warmonger crowd. And the warmonger crowd is right now, their adversaries are, surprisingly enough, on the right, the America First crowd. The crowd that actually believed Trump when he said he's the peace president, when he said he will avoid a war. No war under my administration. If you elect me, no World War III. I'm the only thing that could stop it. I'm the only choice to avoid World War III. Me, Trump, Mr. Peace and Love. So, as his rhetoric ramps up, so does his supporters.
Yeah, so where are they? They're nowhere. How about China? Nowhere. How about Russia? Nowhere. What happened to World War III? There is no World War III. They all sound like a bunch of Marxist-Islamists. They don't sound like patriotic Americans. Let me be clear. This is good versus evil. You're either a patriotic American who's going to get behind the President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief, or you're not.
It's good versus evil, us or them. You either get behind our president, regardless of what he says or had promised in the past, regardless of evidence, regardless, and I mean, if you're looking for a measured response, of course, Mark Levin is where you go to for a calm, measured, nuanced response to these things, right? I mean, literally banging the table, banging the drums of war. Where's China? Where's Russia? Well, you little liar, they have both made statements and are both closely watching, monitoring this situation, and they have weighed in. Russia, they have weighed in. Putin himself offered to mediate an end to this conflict. He suggested Moscow could help negotiate a settlement that would allow Tehran to pursue a peaceful atomic program while addressing the Israeli security concerns. Now, pursue a peaceful atomic program could mean a lot of things, right? It could mean allowing them to enrich, maybe be on a path to being, having nuclear weapons, or it could just mean maybe they want a path to more advanced, efficient nuclear power for their people, right? It could mean that. It could mean that, but he weighed in, right? And he condemned the strikes. He condemns the Israeli strikes, the Iranian response. He condemns all of the violence in the region. Now, obviously, you take any of Putin's condemnation of violence with a boulder of salt, because he himself is leading an invading horde on a sovereign nation. But they have weighed in, okay? They have weighed in. China has weighed in as well. Xi Jinping has voiced concern over Israel's recent military action against Iran. He's warning against continued escalation, warns against the global implications of such a conflict, also opposes any action against any sovereign nation, and is also willing to be involved in any mediation to bring this conflict to an end. So, Mark Levin, you'll just lie, right? You sound a lot like Bush Jr. over there, either with our president or against, either with us or with the enemy. There's no nuance, no middle ground, just with us or against us. That includes you, Democrats. That includes you, America First Republicans, and anybody else who wants to stand in the way of war. It continues. This is Roger Williams. He talks about it.
President Trump is demanding unconditional surrender from Iran and is reportedly considering U.S. military involvement should things escalate further. And yet you've got colleagues in the House right now and in the Senate, like Tim Kaine, who are trying to limit President Trump's powers and decision-making at the time of war.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, I would say to Senator Kaine, whose side are you on, for crying out loud? I mean, death to Israel, death to America. What more do we need to hear? And I think President Trump is right. He's got us to a point where these guys need to take a hard look at themselves and surrender. If they don't surrender, it may be that we have to end it. We've got the best friend we got in Israel. They're doing a fantastic job. They're controlling the airspace now. So we just need to see. But look, it's biblical, okay? I'm one of those. It's biblical. We support Israel. Israel is our friend. We need to be with them. And Senator Kaine, I just would want to know what side he is really on.
Mm-hmm. So,
what side is Tim Kaine on? What side is Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna on? Because if they're not with us, they're against us, right? There is no room to have independent thought as an American, regardless of political affiliation. There's no room to stop and consider what this may mean for American troops, stability in the region, our relationship with fundamental governments going forward. You don't think about any of that. It's either with us or against us. Whose side are you on? Tim Kaine? Are you a traitor? That's really the question he's asking. And I love at the end of that, he tacks on, this is biblical. So if you're a free-thinking, reasonable Christian in this country, turn off your reason. Stop your free thinking. You don't have an opinion. I'm going to tell you your opinion. If you're a Christian, this is biblical. Boom, you're on our side. If you're not, what kind of Christian are you? Turn off your reason, right? Don't think any more about it. This is biblical. Williams is telling you this, so you must listen. Of course, Mike Johnson's always got something to say, right? Shove him out there, tell the lies, push the agenda every single time. It's what he was put in place for. It's why he's the speaker, right? He gets on board.
Tom Massie is a Republican from Kentucky. He has joined several Democrats saying this is not our war. Even if it were, Congress must decide such matters according to our Constitution. Should we get further involved today?
Thomas Massie is on the wrong side of this, and I think that's very clear. We are in a defensive posture right now. The president is making the right decisions. Why? Because, Bill, we have to protect U.S. assets and obviously our personnel. We got 40,000 U.S. service members stationed in the region over there. That is what the president is doing. He's fully within his authority to act in that manner, and that is what the commander-in-chief is supposed to do. We have to stand by our ally Israel. They're our closest ally and friend, the only stable democracy in the region, and we have to make sure that they can do the job they need to do to protect their citizenry.
So he talks about Massie and a coalition in the House. Not on board, not with us. Are they with the enemy? They're wrong. They're wrong. Well, what are they wrong about? What exactly is it that Massie and Khanna and Kaine, what is it that they're calling for? Why are they traitors? Why are they getting lumped in with the enemy? As you know, there's a bipartisan war powers resolution in the House and a similar, similar legislation being brought forth by Kaine in the Senate. And what is it exactly they want? Well, in their words, in Thomas Massie's words, and he's a Republican from Kentucky, don't forget that. This is not our war, but if it were, meaning it could be, and if it were, Congress must decide such matters according to our Constitution. How dare you, sir? How dare you invoke our Constitution and throw it in our face when we want to go to war with Iran? How dare you? How dare you bring up the fact that Congress must approve for war? How dare you? Tim Kaine, traitor, clearly. The Constitution is clear. Only Congress can declare war. We cannot allow the president to drag U.S. into another Middle Eastern conflict without a vote. That's all they want. Why is that so unreasonable? And why are you so committed to going forward with military maneuvering and action in this region without the vote, without going to war? You have the majority in the House and the Senate. You have the majority. Shouldn't you be able to whip everybody up into this? Shouldn't it be no problem? Don't you have a stranglehold on your party, Mr. President? Why are you so worried about it going to a vote? You should be able to get that through no problem. And why are a few representatives who are simply asking you to follow the Constitution in this matter traitors and with the enemy? Sounds exactly the opposite to me. Sounds like they're the Americans who want to adhere to our Constitution. And there's another notable person that seems to be on the outs with the Trump administration on this issue, which I find really interesting. I feel like somebody's job is in serious jeopardy. And her name is Tulsi Gabbard. Now, there was a meeting at Camp David a couple weeks ago, and where was Tulsi?
My colleague Peter Doocy is reporting that the president's top intelligence chief, Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, was not invited to Camp David on June 8th, where the intelligence and plans were being discussed. She was on National Guard duty at the time, but U.S. officials tell Peter she was never invited in the first place. She is in the Situation Room today, however.
Okay, so she was on National Guard duty at the time, and that would have been a nice, fine little excuse. Hey, she had a prior engagement. But then they go so far as to make sure you know, the American public knows, well, she wasn't invited. So if she didn't have guard duty, she wouldn't have been there anyway. Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, not invited. Why? Why wasn't she invited? Well, I'm going to play you one clip. She put out a 3-minute video. It was describing her visit to Hiroshima, describing the experience of the victims of Hiroshima and the effect on the population and the generations going forward. It was a very heartfelt, moving video. I got to be honest with you, it was very moving. And then at the end of it, she got a little wild. She got a little crazy at the end. I'm going to play you just the end of this video. It was a 3-minute video. I'm going to play you just the end here.
Because as we stand here today, closer to the brink of nuclear annihilation than ever before, political elite and warmongers are carelessly fomenting fear and tensions between nuclear powers. Perhaps it's because they are confident that they will have access to nuclear shelters for themselves and for their families that regular people won't have access to. So it's up to us, the people, to speak up and demand an end to this madness. We must reject this path to nuclear war and work toward a world where no one has to live in fear of a nuclear holocaust.
Wow. Political elite and warmongers are driving us into war. Who's she talking about? You know who she's talking about. I don't think she's going to have a job very much longer. That's how I feel about it. And I played you the clip 2 days ago. Again, Tulsi just banging up against this administration, just butting heads, whether she knows it or not.
The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and Supreme Leader Khamenei has not authorized the nuclear weapons program that he suspended in 2003. The IC continues to monitor closely if Tehran decides to reauthorize its nuclear weapons program.
That is our Director of National Intelligence telling you Iran is not close to a nuclear weapon. At the same time, Trump and all of his cronies are telling you We will be under threat of nuclear attack from Iran if we don't do something right this second. They're this close. What did Trump have to say about that particular sound?
You've always said that you don't believe Iran should be able to have a nuclear weapon, but how close do you personally think that they were to getting one? Because Tulsi Gabbard testified in March that the intelligence community said Iran wasn't building a nuclear weapon.
I don't care what she said. I think they were very close to having it.
I don't care what she said. I don't care what she said. She's not invited to Camp David. She's out here talking about the political elite and warmongers driving us into war, driving us into a conflict that might spark a nuclear emergency. You better get that resume updated, get it out to Indeed or some of these aggregation sites that get you a job, because you're going to need one, Tulsi. You're going to need a job. I can't get enough of it. I can't get enough of it. And so she's saying point blank, Iran isn't close to a nuclear weapon. That is not what we are being told. Point blank, that is not what we are being told. We are being told that it is an existential threat and it is right around the corner, and that is why we need to put military troops in danger. That is what we are being told. More of that after the break.
Breaking politics, breaking narratives, breaking news. But first, Brett breaks things. Fighting for America, one mic drop at a time.
Who told you that about the intelligence community? Because just yesterday, I think it was, the ranking Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee, Mark Warner, said that his understanding was that the intelligence community's assessment was still today what Tulsi Gabbard said in March.
Well, I will tell you, and I've got to walk careful to how far I can go with this, because obviously if I'm getting read in on programs or if we're getting briefed in a classified briefing, there's very little information I can actually come out. I'm telling you the information that we've received.
Who's we?
Tells us. Those of us that have received the information will tell you that they are very, very close to it. The information that we have received from Israel, which Israel, there is no better country in that region to get information than the Israelis. They have an impeccable ability to penetrate, and we've seen this, right? The way they've attacked and systematically eliminated these terrorist organizations sponsored by Iran. By the way, they've been able to take out their defense system and able to attack them. The Israelis have an unbelievable ability to gather information. The information that we've received from them and that our intelligence community has been able to verify will tell you that they were marching towards getting the ability to create a nuclear weapon. Now, there's two sides that's got to be fit in that, right? You got to have a delivery mechanism, right, and you got to have the enrichment. And both of those have to collide. However, once you get the enrichment, which is what they are really, really close to, the delivery mechanism you can buy off the open market. So
they're really, really close to. They're really, really close to. That is unsavory amateur pugilist Mark Wayne Mullins, who wants to fight people on the House floor. He wants to fight. He wants to fight you. So I want to say to all talking heads, all correspondents on all of these networks that want to bring him in for an interview, just keep your guard up, because he's going to sock you one. Mark Wayne Mullins. I mean, he's one of the worst of them. In a different way than like John Kennedy. John Kennedy is equally unsavory, but he does it with that Southern drawl and colloquialisms, and it's a little more palatable. Mark Wayne Mullins, he's going to sock you one. He's going to punch you in the face. If you say something, get up now, let's go. Mark Wayne Mullins, tough guy, Congress. So he's saying they're almost there. They're almost there. Now, is this Trump's talking point? Or is this somebody else's talking point that has been delivered to this administration and told, push it, push it, push it, push it. You say it enough, it becomes fact. Whose talking point is this really?
The deadline for attaining this goal is getting extremely close. And Iran, by the way, is also outpacing Iraq in the development of ballistic missile systems that they hope will reach the eastern seaboard of the United States within 15 years. By next spring, at most, by next summer, at current enrichment rates, they will have finished the medium enrichment and move on to the final stage. From there, it's only a few months, possibly a few weeks, before they get enough enriched uranium for the first bomb. The foremost sponsor of global terrorism could be weeks away from having enough enriched uranium for an entire arsenal of nuclear weapons. That would place a militant Islamic terror regime weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
If not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year.
According to that timeline, Iran has been 2 weeks away from nuclear enrichment in 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks for the last 20 years. For the last 20 years, they've been 2 or a month away from having a nuclear weapon. For 20 years, they've been 2 weeks away, according to Bibi. According to Bibi there. Is he just really, really misinformed on the progress of their enrichment program? Or is he a liar? I'll let you decide, right? But it seems like this talking point that they're 2 weeks away, and it's getting repeated exactly like that by all of these cronies. 2 weeks away, 2 weeks away, 2 weeks away. Tulsi says they're not even close. Can't believe I'm saying this, but I believe Tulsi more than I believe Trump, Bibi, Mark Wayne Mullins, Roger Williams, and the rest of those bought and sold cronies. Sorry. I believe the person that's about to be out of a job, right? The person that's about to be on the outs of this administration, because when those people start to surface, right? The ex-Trumpers, the people who used to be in his administration, used to be in his good graces, when they start to fall out of those good graces, for whatever reason, they start to tell the truth. Every single time. All of a sudden, they are chomping at the bit to tell the truth. And it looks like Tulsi may be joining their ranks really, really soon. And I look forward to hearing what truths she may want to tell once she gets fired. Once she gets fired from her current position. There are others who used to be in lockstep with this administration who are now doing a bit of a 180. I played you that Tucker sound, and he responds to Tucker. I'm going to play that in a little bit. I've played you, different stalwarts of carrying the Republicans' message to social media and other media outlets, the ones that have been responsible for carrying that torch out throughout the masses. One by one, they are peeling off. They're peeling off. And I never thought I'd see this day. Look who's peeling off now.
What does he think? We're stupid? And the people online that are trying to pretend that we are the ones betraying Trump for holding him accountable to his promises that he made to us when we voted for him, when we encouraged other people to vote for him. You're pretending that we're the ones that are problematic? This level of gaslighting that's taking place. You got Laura Loomer out there saying, screenshot every tweet that's against Donald Trump. Let me tell you something, sweetheart. You better start capturing Donald Trump's tweets that are going out right now, because they seem pretty against Donald Trump's ideas of yesteryear. That's all I'm saying.
That is Candace Owens. I find that particular human being reprehensible. And I refuse to forget all of the disgusting race baiting that she has done over the last 10 years. I will not forgive it. That being said, I'm here for that. I'm here for it. So Candace Owens is peeling off. I never thought I'd say that. I never thought I'd have the opportunity to say that. And I encourage anybody watching or listening to go back and check out some of the absolutely abhorrent things that she has said with cameras rolling, microphone on. Unapologetically racist. Unapologetically divisive. She is absolutely reprehensible, and at the same time, she's right about that. Who else is peeling off? Who else is starting to tell just a little bit of truth? This one, you're going to enjoy this one.
For decades, propaganda news. I'll call out Fox News and the New York Post. They're known to be the neocon network news. We have propaganda news on our side, just like the left does. And the American people have been brainwashed into believing that America has to engage in these foreign wars in order for us to survive. And it's absolutely not true.
Tell us, MTG. That is notable psychopath and rep out of Georgia, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't have to go into much detail to express how reprehensible she is, you know. And that is Matt Gaetz with her, hosting her. Matt Gaetz, who now has his own show on One America News. He's no longer in Congress, we know that. Very spectacularly dodged charges of sex trafficking, right? The investigation being stalled. We know about Matt Gaetz. Birds of a feather, huh? Of course, he's willing to listen to Marjorie Taylor Greene, but there she is talking about Fox News propaganda. Fox News propaganda. Just days after Tucker told you they're taking advantage of old people on Fox News. It's propaganda. Wow. I don't know what to say. And here's, by the way, speaking of Tucker and his tough talk towards Trump responded.
And it's interesting because I did ask Tucker, I said, well, are you okay with nuclear weapons being in the hands of Iran? And he sort of didn't like that. He didn't want to really, but he sort of didn't like that. And I said, well, if it's okay with you, then you and I do have a difference.
Okay, so he claims that Tucker called him and apologized to him. I don't see Tucker. I doubt that Tucker Carlson has ever apologized to anybody for anything in his entire life. I just doubt it. Trump has said Iran needs to come and talk. This could have been avoided. Come talk. He's still pushing that master of the deal, art of the deal bull crap, like he has any control over this situation. I told you, I don't think he has any control over this situation. He's doing what Bibi tells him to do, just like he's doing what Putin tells him to do. I'm reminded of that 80s sitcom, My Two Dads, with Paul Reiser. Remember that one, My Two Dads? That's where Trump is right now. He's got two daddies. He's got two daddies telling him what to do. Trump's two dads. He's doing what Bibi is telling him to do. He's saying what Bibi is telling him to say. And the end result is American lives are going to be put in harm's way. And tensions in this region are going to boil over even further. And we do not know just how bad this could get.
We'll be back to break it all down. You're listening to Brett Breaks Things. You're back with Brett Breaks Things, because silence isn't an option.
All right, so we're going to switch gears a little bit. I really wanted to get to this. It's breaking-ish, but it's something that everybody needs to see. I would like to hear your thoughts on, the new talking points out of the right and Trump concerning us getting railroaded directly into a war with Iran. Give us a call, 561-270-3844. Or if you want to call me about this next story and how you feel about it, 561-270-3844. And this next story, I think everybody has had a whiff of it. It was, I mean, you don't have to be really dug into the political scene to have seen something about this. Okay, so Brad Lander, he is the comptroller of New York City. He has been since 2021. He is now a mayoral candidate. And he has been active in the ICE detentions and arrests, especially at the courthouses, right? We know their dirty tricks. We're seeing them unfold, some of these dirty tactics. And I'm going to play some too. But one of them has been these arrests when people come in for their hearing to see a judge about their immigration status, about their asylum claim, about their visa status, whatever it may be, when they come in to have their day in court, they are getting arrested. Their case getting dismissed offhand and immediately arrested in the hallways. You've seen this. And Brad Lander is taking a personal role in this to try to stem the unconstitutionality of what they're doing, to try to advocate for some of these people. And a situation sparked off. I'm going to play you this. This is Brad. He was, pardon me, he was at a federal building where cases were being heard in Lower Manhattan. Okay. This is him there. He was advocating at the time for one particular detainee, identified only as Edgardo was this gentleman's name, and Edgardo was about to be arrested, and Lander had had enough, and he stepped in. Let's take a look.
Guys, back up, guys. Back up. I understand. You're pregnant, but I need you to back up. If you're interfering with this arrest, we're going to arrest. Back up, guys. Back up, guys.
This is not legal to take someone without a judicial warrant.
Please don't put him in the elevator and then claim you have the warrant.
You don't have a warrant for him.
I will let go when you show me the judicial warrant. Where is it?
Where is the warrant? I have my hand here. So show it. Let us see it. So let us see it before you take his warrant.
Excuse me, please stay back. No! Take it back. Step back. Please, step back, guys.
Edgardo had his case dismissed. He was getting arrested. Lander locked arms with him and demanded to see the arrest warrant. This is unconstitutional. To arrest this man, I want to see the warrant. I'm not letting go till I see his arrest warrant. With no explanation, no equivocation. We're just going to rip you physically from this man's hands and detain you too. We're going to rip you away and detain you. And they did. They detained him for hours.
You don't have it. I'm not obstructing. I'm standing right here in the hallway. I asked to see the judicial warrant. By asking for a judicial warrant, you don't have the authority to arrest U.S. citizens asking for a judicial warrant.
You go too. Sorry. No way. I'm safe. Where are you taking him? Hello?
Hi, I'm the police press secretary.
Where are you taking the comptroller of the New York? The city of New York.
And with what authority?
All right, let's go. We're going behind.
And where are you taking him?
And off he goes.
We got the security details. His number one is going to go with him, all right? Hang on for his number one. Hold on.
Done. Detained. Just like that. Comptroller of New York, mayoral candidate, detained. Just like that. And he was detained for 4 hours. And it would have been longer. And there is an investigation ongoing into this. It's not over for Brad. And he would have been detained longer had it not been for Kathy Hochul stepping in, intervening personally, and going down to where he was detained and escorting him out personally. And she was not shy about it. As soon as she got a chance to make a statement to the press, she made it.
Do you want to know what I really think?
Please.
It's how dare they take an elected official who's been going down there for weeks to escort people who are afraid to walk into a courthouse in the United States of America because despite them having legal status and following the rules and making their appointments, that they don't know what's going to happen to them. So Brad Lander has stepped up to be a guiding help for them. And this is what happens to him. What the hell is happening to this country? I just left Little Haiti. People are being traumatized. Small businesses, people walking down the street. When I was there in August, the streets were mobbed. People were walking down the sidewalks. There were vendors everywhere.
So she, obviously, you know how she felt about that arrest. And, I just want to say that When Maxine Waters went to the detention facility in LA, I called it out for what I saw it as, which was a bit of a photo op. Now, I'm glad she was taking a personal hand in this. I know exactly where Maxine Waters stands on this. She is on the side of hardworking immigrants, undocumented or citizen or under, asylees or green card status. She's on their side, regardless of where they are in the system. She's against the suspension of these people's rights while in this country. But to go grabbing at doors and fighting detention administrators to get in a building, I thought it was a little theatric. I also said with Senator Padilla, although I appreciate what he was there for and I appreciate what he was doing, and I'm glad somebody's doing it. I'm glad somebody's calling out these Republican thugs like Kristi Noem. I thought what he did was, 2 parts justified and 1 part theatrics. It's a mix, right? He didn't have to go about it the way he went about it. I'm not giving you that line this time. What ICE is doing in this country is unconstitutional. And if nothing can be done at the highest levels of our government about this, somebody has to do something. And apparently it falls on Brad Lander. He's going to do something. And I appreciate what he did. They wanted to detain a U.S. citizen. Well, I'm sorry, they detained him, a U.S. citizen. They wanted to detain, without a warrant, Edgardo, who went there like he was instructed to do and had his case thrown out and was immediately arrested. He was there to defend. He had had enough. He had been there for weeks advocating for victims like Edgardo. Weeks he had been there. This isn't the first one. He had been there actively trying to stem the tide of unconstitutionality going on in New York, and he had had absolutely enough. He's a hero. He's a hero. That's how I feel about what Brad Landers did. And these dirty tricks, these dirty tactics, I mean, it feels like we're in East Germany or Pyongyang or somewhere. I don't. Some of these videos I'm about to show you, they just don't look American, and they are using dirty tricks at the courthouses. I showed you some a week ago. I'm going to show you more.
Sí, señor. Muéstrame la orden de arresto. Muéstrame la orden de arresto. No se la coloco. Muéstrame la orden de arresto. Muéstrame la orden de arresto.
No.
Caballero, va a ser peor. No puedes dejar porque va a tener cargo.
You get the idea. What are they supposed to do? What are they supposed to do? They come here through a port of entry. They get a date for a judge to evaluate their claims. They want to get a worker's visa. They want to get their asylum claim heard. So they get a court date. In the meantime, they're not committing crimes. They're becoming a part of Americana. And at the same time, a critical part of our agriculture and service industry and many other industries. And when they get their date and they show up like they're supposed to do, they get arrested. Case dismissed, you're arrested. What are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to run from their date? Self-deport? Do you expect them to continue to show up to these court dates and get arrested? They see what's happening. They can't go to work now. Right? We've seen the industry take a hit, the agriculture industry taking a hit, so much so that Trump has to mention it, do a 180 on detaining at farms and at hotels, then does another 180, a full 360, and resumes ICE going out to these places, detaining people, resumes the practice, pushes for it harder, demands $3,000 a week, talks about sanctuary cities. For a second there, he knew. For a second there, he recognized publicly the hit that agriculture and service industry specifically are taking due to these raids. So they can't go to work. They can't go to their court date. Just self-deport or be arrested, right? Those are the choices they're left with. I'm going to play a couple more videos before we go out. I promised to fact check the lies, and I've done a bunch of that. And whenever Trump gives me an opportunity, I do that. I promised to call out the BS and highlight the injustice. And I'm going to spend the rest of this show highlighting injustice. This is a Chilean immigrant, legal Chilean immigrant. She was in New York, and a car pulled up and just snatched her right off the street. But this one's going to hit you in the feels. There she goes. And what do we have here? That is that woman's 12-year-old daughter. And that gentleman that's saying, "Officer, you're leaving her daughter on the streets of New York," is not her father. That's somebody who witnessed the arrest. "Officer, somebody want to come take this kid off the streets of New York, this 12-year-old minor? You just took her mother and spirited her away. You pulled up like body snatchers, snatched her mother, and she's gone. Daughter standing there in the streets of New York." You feel good about that, MAGA? Don't tell me that's not what you voted on. I don't want to hear, "I voted on no tax on tips," even though he's not giving that to you either. I don't want to hear some other reasons you voted for Trump. That's what you got, and you knew it's what you were getting. How do you feel about it? I'm going to play you this one last one. I had so much more. I'm going to play this one last one. And MAGA, I want to know how you feel about this one.
I work with the U.S. military back in my home country. Okay. I have all the documents. I was interpreter. I work with the U.S. military.
An Afghan national, whose lawyer asked NBC7 not to use his name, calmly tells ICE agents he aided the U.S. military in Afghanistan as he's detained after showing up for his hearing.
And he believes that if he returns, he'll be detained, probably tortured, and possibly even killed.
His attorney, Brian McGoldrick, tells NBC7 his client has ample documentation verifying he worked with the military, providing...
Okay. I got to stop it there. I wanted to play more. I had more stuff to get to, but I ran out of time. How do you feel about that one, MAGA? He's one of the Afghans. When we were still in Afghanistan, he was an interpreter. Worked with the U.S. military. Was not eligible, did not get a chance to get one of those special visas that was given to people who aided us in Afghanistan. Many hundreds of Afghanis were able to come out with us, leave with us when we left, and become legally in this country because of the service that they provided at great risk to themselves and their families. He didn't even get that. He was left. When we pulled out, he was left. So he had to get out himself, and he did. And he came to our border, and he came over, and he was legally, he was in a legal period to have his status evaluated by the courts. And now he's gone. You good with that?
They'll try to repair the narrative, but Brett Breaks Things will be back tomorrow to